guys, it's Ava and Ivy, and today we're going to be talking about Survivor Season 49, Episode 9.
Yo.
What was it called
Do you know
again?
the title? I don't remember the... Yeah, I don't remember.
It's like, if you're loyal to all, you're loyal to none. Something like that, and it was said by Rizzo.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Let's just jump right into it. I can start us off. So, obviously, how every episode starts, you see what happens post-tribal, and you kind of see how the dynamics are kind of starting to shift. We see Christina, and Loki starts talking a little sneakily about how Sophie with an E is a target, but she's also in her alliance, but it's good that Sophie's a target because then Christina won't become a target, you know? So she's definitely thinking about the game. She's strategizing, and we haven't really seen that from her really much at all from what I remember, like from Christina's point of view. So that's like how it all kind of started out. And then we see them come back from tribal, and like everyone was just shocked that, you know, MC was voted out and not Sophie, which such an awkward situation for Sophie.
Bro.
But what made it even more awkward was when Sophie said it out loud. She said it out loud. I forget what she said, but she was like, she asked her, like, did you think it was gonna be me? And then it was just silence. Oh my gosh.
So she was like, I'm not feeling too hot with the way you guys are talking about all this shock, like about MC going home. Dude, that scene was crazy. And honestly, so valid by Sophie, because I would be pretty pissed, like, if I knew I was, like, on the chopping block and all these people who were being, like, supposedly my allies then are, like, shocked, like, that this other girl went home and not me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be so annoyed. I'd be like, you're saying all this to my face. Like, I'd be so annoyed by how annoying they are being about it. So, low-key, I think I would have said something like that, too, because that's so hurtful and so, like, blindsiding. Like, these people you're still supposed to be working with are saying that and are upset that essentially it wasn't you going home. Because nobody thought it was going to be Rizzo, really, you know? And so it's like, oh my gosh, I would have been pissed. I would have been so mad.
Yeah, I would have been mad too. I just don't know if I would have said it out loud.
Yeah.
Because then it's like even more awkward, you know? And like, what was anyone going to say? Like, oh yeah, we actually expected you to go. Like, no one was going to say that, actually.
Yeah. I feel like she probably just got emotional because it's so, like, frustrating, like, and awkward, I'm sure, of a situation where it's just like, you just have to say something. But that made me really excited because I was like, I feel like we're on the verge of Sophie having, like, a revenge tour, and I would love nothing more than for her to turn on her supposed allies, who now she's realizing wouldn't have been mad if she went home. And I want her to go and get all of them out, like, one by one, blindsiding them. So that's my hopes now for Sophie. So I hope that lit a fire under her. It seems like it did. So I'm really excited to see where she goes now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we did essentially kind of see that they portrayed how she was kind of coming to that realization. And we saw, she pointed out that she's very isolated right now. And so she essentially tried to team up with Savannah and Sophie B. In the very beginning of the episode, she was like, look, I want to work with you guys, because she's come to that realization that she doesn't, the people who thought she had her back do not. So that's a developing story to be determined. Yes. Also laying out where the dynamics, the premise, who has power right now. We have the power trio. We have Sophie B, we have Savannah, and we have Rizzo. And why? Because Rizzo has his idol. Still. Rizzo has his idol. Sophie B has knowledge is power, which again, nobody knows about. Nobody. And Savannah has her extra vote. And Savannah told Sophie B once she came back that she has an extra vote. So then I was like, dang, and Sophie B didn't even tell Savannah about her knowledge is power.
I know. That's
going to be low-key. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. Yeah, for that to like come into play. Woo. That would be good. And then, yeah, we have Steven, Sage, and Jawan in their bottoms up alliance still. Steven tells Sage that Christina has an idol. So now that information is starting to circulate. And Steven even said, like, look, if this gets out, they're going to know it's coming from me. So, and now they'll really know, because of what happened at Tribal, that it would essentially be coming from Steven. So, you know, that information out there. I really hope at one point Sage just like somehow mentions to Sophie B, like, yo, Christina has an idol. And
Oh,
Sophie's like,
oh my
oh,
god.
really? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh my
Yeah. It's
god.
also
Yeah.
interesting that, like, no one is really, at least from our point of view, no one has really come to terms that Sophie, Savannah, and Rizzo are the essentially on top right now. Because they show the
Yeah.
divides throughout this episode, and it's like, oh, Joanne and Sage, they keep saying, like, oh, we're leading the pack, we're leading the pack. And I'm like, are you?
Yeah.
Really?
And I thought it was interesting because the people kept mentioning over and over how Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie are on the bottom. They're like, yeah, they're on the bottom. Like them three, like they're at the bottom. Whatever, they're desperate. What? And that's by what? Like supposedly five? Is it 5-3? Is what they're thinking? Is like the three of them versus. But now you have, I don't
Basically
know.
everyone
It just didn't
else.
make sense to me. I'm like, okay, I get that everybody else is supposedly against them, but you have a tight three. And you're saying how they're
Right.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And one of them has an idol. Like, how do you call that really the bottom?
No, and I think maybe they're trying to highlight that purposely, like highlight, oh, everyone thinks they're on the bottom because, something may be happening in the future. But anyway, let's start talking about Alex a little bit because in the very beginning, Rizzo, we see the whole dynamic of Alex talking to, I think it was Savannah, Sophie, and Rizzo. And he was
Yeah.
talking a lot, and Rizzo pointed out how Alex is purposely trying to draw lines in the sand while Alex stays right in the middle. And, people hate when you play the middle. And Rizzo's point was very true. And it's actually
Yeah.
amazing how Rizzo can see right through that. And it's almost as if Rizzo is thinking about every single aspect of this game from everyone's point of view. And that is a talent that,
Yeah.
it's
That's so
hard to be able
strategic.
to read people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Rizzo, very good at that. And that was
Mm-hmm.
definitely highlighted throughout this episode, in my opinion.
Agreed. Agreed. And there's something else I want to point out. I think it comes out a little bit more later in the episode, but while we're talking about Rizzo and his read on people, it really annoys me. There's so many takes of like that people are saying in their confessionals about each player that are annoying and like are bothering me. One of those being that everyone keeps calling Rizzo cocky and they're saying he's playing too cocky, he just is too cocky in general. And by saying like all this stuff about the way he's playing. And then they'll show us like in the edit they were like, he's so cocky, he thinks this, blah blah blah. And that was when he was talking about the Alex vote. He's like, oh, everybody's gonna vote Alex. Like I talked to everyone and it worked, like everybody's gonna vote him. But time after time they talk about how cocky he is and they all listen to him. So it's like, no duh.
Right.
Like he's saying like they show the clip of him being like everybody's listening to me and they did that with the MC vote too, how he was like it's working, like I got everybody to listen to me and it worked. But then they're talking about how cocky he is. It's like you're literally listening to him. Like you're the one
Right.
listening to him. He honestly is so valid for being cocky cuz you guys are continually following his lead like over and over again. Oh my gosh, it just makes me so mad because I'm like, you're calling him cocky, but look at you. Look at what you're doing. You're following his lead. So, what do you have to say about that? Like, oh,
Dude, for real. And it's like, bro, what type of sorcery does Rizzo have with his
I
words
know.
where he can convince
Literally.
every single one, to do what he wants to happen? Like, it's
Yeah.
actually absurd to me. Like, no
Yeah.
way this guy with an idol who everybody knows that he has an idol is driving the votes. Like, it is beyond wild to me.
I know.
And
I know.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Rizzo has every
It's
right to be
crazy.
cocky, in my opinion, based on the way that everybody is following his lead in this game. Like, you're kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so funny, like, thinking back to when we were doing our draft and, like, seeing Rizzo's initial intro video. It's like, oh, here comes this guy, like, just the jokester of the
Yeah, yeah,
tribe.
yeah.
No, 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 boy, was everyone wrong. Riz God.
Yeah.
He is a god at this point, like,
Like, what?
everyone's listening to what he has to say.
Literally, like,
So,
what in the world? It's
it's
crazy.
crazy. But, okay, so, kind of going into the reward challenge, we see Rizzo as a captain and Christina again as a captain. This is an interesting discussion. Did you watch the cut? Like, they showed the
Ah,
pics. Did you watch
I
that?
didn't.
Ah, dude,
What
why
happened?
was that cut out? It was like, there was so, like, It explains everything that kind of went down in the episode, going forward to who wins the reward and the moment where Christina switches with Jawan. The schoolyard pick made everything make sense. But they didn't show that in the episode, which pisses me
Hmm.
off. And we literally talked about this, maybe it was last week, where it's like, why don't they show these picks? There's so much
Right.
thought that goes into who you're picking. It shows where everyone lies. So I don't know why that
Yeah.
wasn't included. I'm glad that I saw it though. You should watch it after this. But basically,
Yeah.
Rizzo became captain. He made a comment. He picked Jawan and he was like, Jawan, I'm picking you because I want to believe in you. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, I want to believe in you. I know that you can win this because he's never won. So they were pointing out the fact where Jawan is the only one that hasn't eaten anything in 16 days.
Mm-hmm.
And even Rizzo pointed that out, and that's why he was on Rizzo's team essentially. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it showed a lot of those type of dynamics that we didn't get to see, and it fulfilled the storyline of why Christina switched with Jawan.
Okay.
So going into the challenge, we have blue team, which is Christina, Alex, Savannah, and Sophie with an E. And then yellow team is Rizzo with Sage, Jawan, Steven. And then Sophie B sits out. Again, she bets on yellow, which is Rizzo's team, with Jawan because she was like, you know what? I believe in Jawan. I'm rooting for Jawan, so I'm gonna pick yellow because if I believe in it, then they'll win. So this whole reward challenge was essentially based around Jawan and him not eating. So it's kind of crazy that they didn't include any of that.
Right.
But we see the challenge. We see Yellow was ahead most of the time. And then Alex really did clutch for his team in the end of this reward challenge. He was throwing the rings up on the paddle. And he got all three, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They won. They win the fried chicken reward. And then we have Christina's moment.
Right. We see Christina give her reward to Jawan, and at first he's not accepting it, which made me so mad because I was like, she's like stepping out by giving this to you, and you're not going to accept it. Like, that's just a bad look in general. And then, two, like, I don't know, that would make me upset if I was trying to do something good for somebody and they keep rejecting it. But ultimately, he ends up deciding to take the reward and go get the food, and it's his first time eating in 16 days. And so that's huge for him. And then we get to learn a little bit more about his story and everything, which I enjoy getting to learn more about him because let's be honest, the edit does bully him a good amount. Like, he does not have the best edit. So I enjoy getting to learn more about him and who he actually is versus, you know, kind of what we've been told through the edit. But yeah, so that was a good move on Christina's part. I'm glad she did that. And I'm glad everybody encouraged him to take that reward.
Yeah. And you know what? It did going off of like the edit and thinking about Jawan's edit in the past. Again, with the schoolyard pick, that's a huge thing about Jawan's character. Like, you kind of get a feeling that like Jawan's this annoying guy that not really anyone wants to team up throughout the past episodes, and then that schoolyard pick specifically showed that like everyone does like Jawan. Like, people want Jawan to succeed, and then hearing his backstory as well, I think we're starting to turn a page of Jawan just being this kind of side, quote unquote, annoying character, which it was really just the edit, to being a person with a story and a person that actually does have sway in this game. Because, you know,
Yeah.
Jawan shares his little moment about his family. He also brings up the fact that he feels like he can truly be himself on Survivor, like with these people. And that's a huge line for me because it's like, you know, from the edit at least, it's kind of showing that people aren't really liking Jawan, but that's just not the truth. So now I'm kind of confused on like what his relationships are with everyone. And I think it's just the difference between game and like your alliances and then actual human beings. And like, I feel like
Right.
everyone on this
sure.
season do like each other, but with the game, obviously people are gonna clash heads and stuff like that. But yeah, it is
Yeah.
kind of confusing for me. It's like, okay, Jawan was this one character for the past 8 episodes, and now he's turning into this different type of person. So it is interesting to see. I like that they finally kind of did develop that a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see where Jawan goes. He is on my tribe, let's not forget. So
Yes.
I wonder if I'll get points for him going on reward, even though he didn't win reward.
Yeah. I
wonder.
wonder how that works.
But yeah, so we see them go. to the reward. They get their fried chicken. They all just kind of mentioned that they're all open for business. You know, no one's really true alliance, whatever. But then again, I feel like everyone says that. So we saw the whole bit with Steven about feeling guilty
Oh
about
yeah.
killing the chickens.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is honestly, that's real. Like, I feel like I would have nightmares too, low key.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It was funny though. Like the way they edited it. Not funny about the chickens, but
Yeah.
like the way they
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so talking about the losers of the challenge, we see, well, Christina technically won, but you know, she was on the losing tribe, whatever. Christina hits the line and calls Savannah a mean girl. She said, "Sorry, but you kind of give off mean girl energy." You're kidding. You're kidding.
Bro,
And I'm like,
I
the
was gonna
editors
bring
are
that
doing
up
this on
too.
purpose.
Like, I think
I
it's
know,
literally
bro.
just rage bait for us at this point because
Yo, it literally is.
I'm once again asking. I'm literally a genuine question to me and whoever's watching this video right now. What makes Savannah a mean girl? What have you seen this season that has portrayed Savannah as a mean girl? Because every time somebody mentions that, I am completely baffled. I'm like, where is this coming from? Why don't we see any evidence of this? I don't understand. Because Sage has nailed that point to the ground. Now Christina's saying it? What? Like, literally, where is this coming from? And it's I'm done. I'm so overhearing that.
I
I don't
know.
buy it. I don't buy it because nobody's giving examples. Nobody's showing us anything.
I really think it's just like Sage like planting these seeds in other people's, or at least just Christina's head of like, oh, she's a mean girl. She's a mean girl. But dude, come on now. But one thing I do have to say, I don't know if you saw Savannah's story, but I think it's her birthday week. Happy birthday, by the way, Savannah, if you're listening.
Happy birthday, Savannah.
But on her night out, her shirt literally said "mean girl." I was like, I love how she's leaning into it.
I love
how
that.
she's leaning into it.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Wait, that's so good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, like, what else are you supposed to do? Because, oh my gosh, if I was Savannah, I would be pissed. I would be so mad. Because why are, literally, what is this? What is this edit with no
Like,
backing behind it for her being a mean girl?
Yeah. And to be honest, like, is Sage just saying that because she's good at talking and she's pretty? Like, that's, like, literally the only reason I can think of.
That's exactly what I was thinking, too. Like, people, I don't know. I'm not trying to sound mean against anybody else, but I just don't understand. It honestly just feels like a jealousy thing that Savannah is getting the brunt of. That people are just kind of jealous of either her as a person, the way she's playing this game, or something, and that's why that's their only attack, is that she is a mean girl.
Yeah. But I'm glad she's leaning into it. I'm glad she's not thinking too deep into that. Yeah, going back to the actual episode, you know, we see Sage and Christina, obviously they want Savannah out, so Christina approaches Sophie B, or she doesn't approach her, but she says that Sophie B is kind of an easy number in a way once Rizzo and Sophie are out the game, because then, you know, she's alone, she doesn't really have an alliance without them. But Sophie kind of says that she wants to play all the sides because for some reason, everyone goes to her and tells them what they're thinking. She's like that person, you know?
Yeah.
And so they tell Sophie B about the split vote plan between Savannah and Rizzo. Sophie immediately goes and tells Savannah about the plan. And so that was kind of already out the window at that moment. But during that conversation, Savannah opened up to Sophie B and told her true profession, which was being a reporter, which I think they really showed us that to kind of show that, okay, these two are locked in as, you know, they're number ones. And does that mean that Rizzo essentially is on the outer, you know, like it used to be just Savannah and Rizzo,
too,
but now it's more Sophie and Savannah.
Yeah, so. That's literally what I was thinking too. And gotta say, love the Sophie B and Savannah alliance, and just them as a duo, so iconic. But yeah, I had that same thought. I was like, okay, is Rizzo gonna get less kind of relevant in this now that we see them, a focus in the edit at least of them being a duo?
Yeah, I don't know. They do seem pretty tight as a three though, so I like that. But when it does come down to it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who Savannah would pick if you had to choose. If you had to choose. Wait. Okay, yeah. And then the last thing we see before the immunity challenge is Rizzo comes up with the plan of targeting Alex. And that's where that starts to develop. And it's kind of pitching Alex to everyone. and why he is bad for their game because Alex is playing the middle, which he's telling the truth. And I think this was later in the episode, but Rizzo had a bit where he was like, "Yeah, I'm just telling the truth. Maybe sprinkling in a little lies, maybe over exaggerating a little bit, but hey, overall it's the truth. So I think it's gonna work. Whatever." It's just
Mhm.
he's just so confident in himself, and as he should be,
Yeah.
as he should
As
be.
he should be. Yeah. And about Alex, we've been talking about this for I don't know how many episodes now, but he has been playing the middle and being the very agreeable player, which I think is a
Mm-hmm.
good strategy at the beginning, but I think choosing a side could have helped him so much more. So that was a little sad
I
for
also
me
just
on
think like
my fantasy tribe.
yeah, and I think this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but it's just like he could have fought harder for his position, but he just didn't know. Like he was blind, like
Yeah.
he didn't know at
Yeah.
all. I think that any votes, and even the edit made it seem like, oh, it's gonna be Rizzo or Savannah, and then it wasn't. So
Right.
it's like he was. They set it up as if he was completely blindsided. But sorry, that's jumping ahead. Let's talk about the immunity challenge,
Yes.
which again pretty crazy challenge, and we see the same two people fighting it out, at least on the girls' side.
Yes.
For those, I don't know, just a review. It was the disc challenge. You literally just hold the disc up with your feet, which that is hard. And what I noticed, even before I watched like the whole challenge and pursue whatever word you would use, it's like I wrote down that eating before this challenge is a huge advantage into going into it.
Mhm.
And what do we see throughout the challenge? The people who ate ended up holding longer than anyone who didn't.
Oh
So
my
it's kind of
gosh. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
No, that is
So,
perfect. Something I noticed during the challenge, and I would like to know like more details about the way the challenge was set up and everything. What I noticed is it looked like everybody had the same distance from their seat to the disc
mm,
from what I saw. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, in my head, we see Rizzo, his legs are like up on him. Like he has nowhere else to put his legs because he's like one of the tallest players. And we see him get out really quick. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that his legs are longer. So that makes the challenge harder in general. Every time we see Savannah, her legs are almost completely straight. And
mm,
I think that probably makes the challenge not I'm not gonna say it's like easy necessarily, but I think that is a benefit of having shorter legs to do that challenge. And so I thought it was interesting that it was like the same distance for everybody because that definitely would affect the difficulty level. But yeah, regardless, I'm still happy to see Savannah win again. But that was something I noticed. I'm like, it seemed like the people with the longer legs got out pretty quick.
yeah, I could totally see that. I think that's definitely a factor for sure, but does it have to do with how you position yourself in the beginning?
Oh,
Like
for
I'm
sure,
pretty
too.
sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like definitely the distance does matter, but I feel like because you were able to position yourself as close or as far as you wanted to,
Yeah.
maybe that isn't as indecisive. But then again, you do see that for the first 10 minutes they were allowed to hold on, right? To either their legs or their block. And I'm pretty sure Savannah was holding on to like the front of the block. Whereas
Yeah.
like if Rizzo were to extend his full legs, he wouldn't be able to reach the front of the block
Right.
probably. You know what I'm saying? So there is
Yeah.
definitely like a discrepancy. I could see a discrepancy in that. But yeah, it that I also did like how they could only hold on for their first 10 minutes and then had to let go cuz
Yeah.
obviously the challenge could go on forever cuz we saw Rizzo was out first, then Christina, then we saw the space facts edit with Steven just throwing out
That
a
was
bunch of
so
space
good.
facts. Again,
Yeah.
another funny bit with Steven. I guess he's just like the comedic,
Mhm.
or what is that? Comedian
Comedic relief.
of the season.
Oh, comedian.
Yeah. So also, sorry, I'm pointing that out though, but Rizzo, Christina, Sage, and then it was Alex, but Alex did win. But those first three were people that didn't eat. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
And then it was Alex, and then Sophie B was out, and then we were down to Savannah, Sophie, and Jawan and Steven for boys and girls.
Mhm.
I did like how they did gender. I did like that.
Yeah,
Which,
I like that too.
and then to the further point, how it was the two girls lasting longer than all the guys. Like, I like
Yeah.
that too. But again, we see Savannah, just taking digs. Like, I'm not dropping. I'm not
Oh
dropping.
my gosh,
She's
yeah.
getting in her head.
Which
Yeah, and I
which
love
is
that.
like are comments like that what make people think she's a mean girl? Maybe. But in my brain, she's just
Maybe.
competitive. She's just a fierce competitor. But so is
Mhm.
Sophie. So I don't think that there's any,
Yeah.
I don't know. But
And
yeah, I
I mean,
like that
that's
when she was like, I'm
strategy.
not
That's
even
a part
close.
of the game.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
part of the game. So I don't think that should be held against her to any capacity.
Yeah. So they went past the 30-minute mark. I don't remember the exact time, but eventually Savannah wins again. Also putting a target on your back, Savannah, but I don't care because you're winning. So I don't care.
Yeah.
She already has a target on her back anyway. So might as
Yeah,
well
might as
win,
well just add to it.
right?
Yeah, might as well.
And also, Steven won immunity as well. Don't want to. Steven, good job, Steven, too. But after the challenge, we go into the scramble. We see that everyone's initially going for Rizzo, but they want to split now on Sophie B and Rizzo because Savannah won immunity, which I'm going to correct myself from earlier on the podcast. I said the votes was between Rizzo and Savannah, but it's Rizzo and Sophie B, or they wanted us to think that. So yeah, and unfortunately Sophie B just got thrown in there, which did make me nervous at first because I was like, dang, it could be Sophie. Christina and Steven were initially driving that plan, but they didn't. The edit was very interesting to me because they didn't really highlight, like they did show Rizzo obviously advocating for Alex to go out, but ultimately it was like, oh, it's gonna be Rizzo and Sophie B split vote. And they pranked us there. They pranked us.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They
And I
like to
think
do
that
that.
they especially tried to prank us with the fact of multiple people, like I said earlier, bringing up how Rizzo thinks he has control and Rizzo is so cocky and whatever. With those scenes of him talking about, oh, everyone's voting Alex. The vote is Alex, whatever. And he's right. And he's right. So, okay,
Yeah.
I just can't handle, sorry. I can't handle the
Yeah.
slander against some of our favorite players. So,
One thing that did surprise me was there was a moment where Sage was more so on the side of getting Alex out rather than Rizzo, which really did surprise me. I was like, I thought Sage was so
yeah.
against like
Oh
Savannah
my
and
gosh, I
her side.
know.
So I don't know.
Which we did not
I
see
don't
a lot
know.
of Sage this episode.
No. Yeah, not really. Do you have anything before we go into Tribal itself? I don't have that much from Tribal either, but
I don't think
okay.
so. I think we covered everything.
The only thing I have from Tribal is, well, one, the fact that so many metaphors again, and they did highlight that in the episode again. But first, like the omelet metaphor from Sophie B, and then the space metaphor from Steven. I'm like, they'll never let metaphors go. They will always exist in Survivor.
Yeah, they have
Which I guess
to.
it's the best way
They
of like
have to.
explaining situations, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, oh my
I
gosh.
love a good Survivor
I feel like,
metaphor.
yeah, like if I'm ever on Survivor, I need to have my pre-planned metaphors to
Yeah.
say,
Ava, when I did College Survivor, I always had a metaphor.
you're a metaphor girl, aren't you?
I'm a metaphor girl. So I love a Survivor metaphor.
My only notes was the fact that when Rizzo didn't play his idol and they showed the scene of him like reaching into his pocket, but then he didn't
Mhm.
play it. I honestly got nervous in that moment because I was like, no
Mhm.
way, he's like that confident again to not play his idol, and then he was right again. So that
I
was
like
really a
genuinely
crazy
can't
moment,
believe
honestly.
that. How does he still
Yeah,
have his idol? Literally how? They're like
I don't get it.
Rich is like on some other level and people are acting like he's not.
It's just why? How does he still have an idol? How?
I don't know.
But yeah, Alex was ultimately blindsided. I did feel bad. That sucks. But he did acknowledge
Mhm.
that he was in the middle. So he knows what he did wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at least he went on a okay note. He didn't seem too upset, honestly. But
R.I.P.
um,
Alex.
yeah. Oh my gosh, he was your number one. No.
He was my number one. So sad about that. Sad to see him go. But I'm glad he had a good attitude about it. I would have been so sad if he was upset. I think I'm gonna be, going up and going up as in going down in my fantasy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Going up in the numbers, but down
I'm
in
gonna
the
be
being number
Yeah, I'm
one.
gonna be going up in the oh yeah. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be going down in placements, essentially.
Yeah. I would love to hear more of Alex's side of like where he thought the votes were going. I'm assuming I guess he just thought it was going to be Rizzo. And I just want to know what in his head when Rizzo didn't play his idol. I wonder if Alex was like, yes, we're getting Rizzo out. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then it was him. Like,
He's
that
like,
sucks. I would love to hear that. Alex, if you're listening,
Mhm.
come on the podcast.
Please.
Come on the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, we would love to talk to you. She had you as your number one, so like, come on now.
You have to come on.
So yeah, let's talk about placements in our fantasy league. This is obviously for week 8, so the points for week 9 aren't applied yet. But I'm in 211th place with 1,552.5 points. So I jumped over 100 places upward last week.
You're on the ups.
Like I said, Ivy, I'm coming for you.
I think you are.
But Ivy in week 8 was 99th place with 1,624.5 points.
Yeah.
Let's
savor that while we can. Let's savor that.
Yeah.
Because I don't
and
think
that was
I'm
kind
going
of a jump
any lower.
For you. You went from 134th to 99th. So let's just hope that other people's tribes aren't doing well, so then we'll stay on top.
Yeah, we'll be number 1 and number 2.
I really think I'm gonna have another big leap because of Savannah winning again, and she's my number 1, so my points get like 5 times the amount of points it would normally be. So yes, Savannah,
I think
thank you.
Pass me. You literally could pass me this next one.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I knew it all along. I definitely wasn't in like 600th place in the beginning of this.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, that's all I have for episode 9. Pretty good episode. I'm excited for next week. I mean, the numbers are dwindling. You know, there's no more easy votes.
There's nowhere to hide. I'm wondering where in the preview we see Rizzo crying. What's that about?
I don't know.
Also, wait, there's something I want to point out about the votes. When Alex gets voted out, there's only 2 people left out of the vote. I mean, there's 2 people left out of the vote, and that's Christina and Steven. And they vote Sophie B. So, did anybody even tell them Alex was the name? Or did people intentionally not tell them because they know that them 3 share an idol?
Maybe, but the only people that know they share an idol is Sage.
Yeah, but isn't that interesting that them 2 were the only ones who didn't vote Alex?
Yeah.
And then somebody voted and then Alex voted Rizzo.
For a split second, I was like, is it gonna be split between like 3-3-3? Because there was 9 of them, right?
Mm-hmm. That would have been crazy.
I was like, that would have been so good though, but
that would have been good.
But yeah, I do like that point. Good point out. Yes. Okay, gamer.
Okay, gamer. You know me.
Maybe we'll see that next week. A reasoning behind that next week. Or not reasoning.
Because
what happened?
That was just so interesting to me. Because it seemed like the votes were thrown on Sophie B. Like, when Christina explained the idea of voting for Sophie B, it sounded like it was in case Rizzo played an idol. So did she really think that Rizzo was going home?
Yeah. And now does that mean technically like Steven and Christina are the ones that are on the bottom?
Right, like, yeah.
And then Christina, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to predict too much.
And then Sophie B is gonna take Christina's idol.
Yeah, because Sage is gonna tell Sophie B for some reason.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, you know what? Actually, we're close like that.
Yeah, because she doesn't hate Sophie B. She likes Sophie B. So maybe she'll tell her. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she will.
We'll see. But yeah, that brings us to the end of this podcast episode. Thank you for listening along. If you enjoyed, please like the video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below if you think Sophie B will steal Christina's idol at one point.
Yeah, she's gonna snatch it.
Yeah, she's gonna snatch that idol. But that's it from us. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.